The wheels of justice in the New York case are going to move rather slowly. Trump's next court date in the New York case is set for the end of December of this year. A lot could happen between now and then. Here with me to break it all down is former federal prosecutor and criminal defense attorney Katie Cherkasky. Katie, first let's start with the Pence news. President Trump also tried to fight having Pence testify before the grand jury. Could he still appeal and stop this from happening?
Well, I don't see that as very likely at this point. I think that the judge's order specifically addressed the same contentions of the executive privilege and made somewhat of a limitation that Pence would not have to answer questions regarding the actual events of January 6th. But really, that leaves open so much more that the committee wants to hear. So certainly this is going to be interesting. I think Pence does have incentive to distance himself a bit from President Trump. He's already done so in certain regards. And this is just the final iteration of that in my mind.
Well, he's spoken out about the fact that, what Trump's comments and rhetoric, he says, put him and his family in danger on January 6th. We also know from Ivanka Trump's statements and testimony before the January 6th committee that she was witness to a phone call between her father and the vice president, and that she emerged from after hearing that phone call being very shaken at how angry her father was when he was trying to pressure Vice President Pence to stop the certification.
Well, I think that what we have to draw the line between is the facts of whatever happened from Pence's perspective and whether that actually constitutes a crime. And that's not something that Mike Pence can make a conclusion on. So whatever actually happened and whatever he feels from his perspective needs to be shared may be very important, but it doesn't ultimately answer the question, yes or no, does this push it over into something that can be prosecuted?
Right. Being rude or being bullying doesn't exactly constitute or necessarily constitute a crime.
Some evidence potentially, but not a conclusion.
Okay, let's switch to the New York case, the historic New York case that happened here just 24 hours. It seems like it all hinges on former President Trump's intent when he authorized this money to be paid to Stormy Daniels, Karen McDougal, and the doorman of one of his own Trump buildings, right?
It is a highly specific intent crime, meaning that the prosecution has to prove that the intent for the payments was to influence an election. And you see that there is problems with that just based on the timing of the allegations that have been alleged in the indictment, which are all after the election took place. And at this point, Alvin Bragg has not disclosed what the other crime is that Trump was supposedly trying to conceal the commission of.
Well, the fraudulent business records all happened afterwards, but he also apparently reportedly told Michael Cohen, can we delay paying Stormy Daniels until after the election, because after the election it might not matter.
And I think that evidence that's in the statement of facts is good evidence or some evidence of potential intent. The question is, what can the prosecution present to actually corroborate that? Is it just the testimony of Michael Cohen? Because, of course, he has credibility issues, he has bias issues, and that's not going to be so strong. So the indictment is difficult. It's a tough case for a prosecutor. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but I think that there are legal challenges and then there are factual challenges with some of the witnesses that are really going to dictate the outcome of this. We've seen the John Edwards case. I think a lot of people have talked about that. There are a lot of potential comparisons. It is a difficult case to prove because of the intent of these payments.
Right. Well, I'm sure we'll see more. Alvin Bragg did not reveal all of his hand yesterday. The case is being criticized by many as being thin, but we haven't seen everything yet. So it is important, I guess, for us to hold a little bit of judgment on this.
Well, absolutely. I think that we have seen the indictment as it stands right now. I think that there's some notice issues in there. I think that Trump's attorneys are going to request more information, and he's probably going to get that sooner than later, I would imagine.
All right, Katie Cherkasky, thanks so much for your legal expertise today.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.